Five, four, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special guest. His name is Oreste, and he has a number of hats. He's a business coach, a consultant, a corporate trainer, a university lecturer, an author, a public speaker, a spiritual coach, and an advisor. He's also an interstate minister, and he's ordained by the New Seminary in New York City. He's helping people a lot by offering spiritual guidance, helping them find their true life's purpose and living their true spiritual path. He has appeared on radio and television a number of times, and he's also and has worked in most featured in various newspapers. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on your show today.
So you wrote a very interesting book called Life Beyond the Pandemic. What caused you to write that?
Well, I became extremely concerned in the beginning of the pandemic when people were losing their livelihoods. And what I mean by livelihood is jobs, and many people were losing their businesses. And my concern was, what are these people going to do? You know, everyone has to have a livelihood one way or another.
Yeah, it was a very scary time when we were being sequestered into our houses, being told not to go out, being told that we do go out, there's all these dangerous things going on. I remember one picture taken in all the nation capitals around the world where the news streets were empty at noon. So it just shows the crazy times that we were in.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully it's still going on, but hopefully this will bottom out a little bit till we get some somewhat normalization and or a new normal.
Yeah, I suspect we will never be back to where we were. This virus is not allowing us to do that. But, we've had other viruses that come back every year. Fortunately, they're not as dangerous. I mean, every year there's an epidemic of the cold virus going around. Every year there's an epidemic of the flu virus going around. But we've learned to live with those in such a way that it's not something that we have to be really crazy about or worried about. We just go on living.
I agree, and I think we're going to see a new normal with the COVID situation.
So your own career has been really, really diverse. How has your background helped you in putting this book together?
Well, I've spent 20 years in the technology industry, and after that, I spent the remaining years running my own business, and in the mix, I became an interfaith minister. So I've learned the ups and downs of losing livelihoods, having to start over again in midlife and in later on in life. So I took these experiences and put them together in the book. So there shouldn't be a fear for people to start over. And I gave them a life blueprint to take them from where they are to a more prosperous life.
Many of this new generation is looking at things and saying, oh my goodness, there's these high interest rates. Oh my goodness, there's a war going on. Oh my goodness, there's all these things going on now. And, we've seen most of these things before. This is not new. High interest rates were very common in the 70s and 80s. High inflation was very common in those days. So, these are cycles that go on and are repeated cycles. We've seen high fuel prices, maybe not as high as now, but they still have been relatively high in there. So we have to realize that this is not new. This is a repeat of things that have been going on.
I agree with you. I think it's more of an evolution than a revolution, and that's what we're seeing right now. I think we're seeing an evolution in the workplace and in modern day life.
Yeah, in your book talks about rebuilding your life and starting over. It's a quick for people who have experienced significant changes over the last year.
Well, it's made really for anyone. The current situation has triggered it, but it's really made for anyone starting over, no matter where they are in their life, be it just starting over professionally or starting over in their personal lives. It gives them a blueprint to plan their work and work their plan and transform themselves and their lives into a more prosperous life. And the word prosperous here is not always meant to be financially. It could be better health, better family life, better work life, for really finding your true life purpose.
So that's huge. So let's go into your book a little bit more. Can you elaborate on some of the principles that you teach?
Well, being an interfaith minister, I believe everything starts in the spiritual, and I believe in the concept of we're all here for a reason and a purpose. So the book lays out the following concepts of spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical, meaning everything starts in the spiritual realm, it transforms itself, and we feel the emotion of it. We mentally think about how we're going to do it, and then it manifests itself in the physical plane by actually doing the specific task or whatever behavior they want to do.
So let's delve into those categories. You have the spiritual plane, the mental plane, the emotional plane, and the physical. So I'm going to actually flip those around so that we'll start at the physical and go up to the spiritual. So tell us what you mean by the physical plane.
Well, the physical plane is the actual dimension we live in. And when regarding prosperity, what do you want to actually happen in your life to be prosperous? What's your definition of prosperity? Is it a new and better job? Is it better family life, better friendship, better health? So that's the physical plane, the actual manifestation of what you want coming from those other aspects we just discussed.
Is there a simple way to start achieving those things? I suspect, like in most things, you have to start with a decision and you have to define what you want before you actually go after it.
Well, that's correct, and that's why the book is designed to give people exercises that they can start putting into place and really do a core dump of their minds as to what they want, how they're going to get there, and then hopefully the ultimate result that they want to achieve from it.
That's huge. You know, a lot of people, as I say, start because they have this angst going on right now, and they're not happy with what's going on right now. But there's sort of tombstones there without the tools to drive them forward. So kudos for you to help people with those tools, because those tools are so necessary. Yet it's often difficult for people to put the first step forward in order to achieve those.
Well, thank you. I believe in giving people one of the reasons why I became a minister is to give people practical tools for the modern day age. You know, it's all well and good to think about things and to ponder things and to dream about things, but at the end of the day, you really have to have practical tools, techniques, and methods to actually implement these things so they come to fruition.
Let's see. That's going to be emotional here, because I would like to first, if you can, define what emotional means, because that means different things, different.
Yeah, I understand. I define emotional as the heart part of ourselves, as our emotional heart. We all have emotions, and the truth of the matter is, if the emotional baggage that many of us are carrying is not resolved, it's very difficult to move forward. So the emotions are the heart part of ourselves, not the actual physical heart, but the emotional heart. And we all have it, even though many of us hide behind a mask of modern day society. Until those emotions are resolved, it makes it quite challenging to move forward in one's life.
I think that's huge, and I think we have to understand that. I've always thought that the emotional self as the reactive self, and with that, we're not always able to control it. It's something that needs to come up and bubble up unless we have full understanding of it.
I agree. The challenge is what's causing those emotions to bubble up. The emotional outbursts are the symptom. What's the cause? And that's what we try to get to, is the cause of that, because once you eliminate the cause, then you eliminate the symptoms as well.
Yeah. You have to do a lot of digging to get at the cause. Are there exercises in your book for that as well?
Yeah, so what I've done is I've taken one of the other books I've written, because I've had my own challenges with mental issues, and I should say emotional issues, and I've learned quite a few things that I share with other people to try to get to the root of the emotional causes. What is really holding you back? Is it childhood issues? Is it issues with parents? Is it self-esteem issues? All the above. So we want to get those causes up to bubble up as much as possible. Now, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, and I don't play one on television, as we say, but I do believe there are some basic exercises that we all can do to help things to bubble up to the top.
Now let's go into the mental area. To me, that's the cognitive area, the area where we think about things, and the area where we analyze things, the area where we plan and control things. Is that your concept as well?
Yes, I agree with that. The mental part, I simulate with the computer. And if you, as the saying goes, having spent, again, 20 years in the technology industry, whatever you put into your mind is what you can get out. The classic saying is garbage in and garbage out. So many people have what we call stinking thinking, meaning their thinking process really is not proper and not straight and square, and many times they come to wrong conclusions because the data that they have in their minds and or they're inputting isn't quite right.
Yeah, it is true. Garbage in, garbage out, and that whole difficult thing. The key is to decide what you put in so that there is no garbage out.
Well, I agree, and that's the challenge. I mean, the challenge is to be mindful of what you're taking in mentally, mindful of what you're reading, mindful of what you're absorbing on television and on the internet, and not just watch things blindly for the sake of watching and reading and absorbing.
We all have an infinite power of absorbing, but there also are an infinite number of variables coming at us every day. And this is what I find difficult for people to grasp and really to think. So I always tell people choose some good sources, be it a podcast, be it a radio show, be it the books that you look for. And, this is what I try to do with my show, is to give people a supportive work to life, so that everybody can find something in their life that can lead to that fantastic life that I talked about.
I agree. The challenge is we're taught how to physically relax our bodies and train our bodies, but we're not taught how to mentally train our minds and bodies. And the irony is society has moved more towards the mind as opposed to the body. Back before the 21st century, we were more a body culture, meaning we made our livelihoods with our bodies. And now, after the 21st century, we're making our livelihoods with our minds. But no one's teaching us how to exercise and relax our minds properly.
I think that's the shame, because I think all of us need to exercise the various skills we have. I've always felt that every day you should try and do something for somebody else that you regularly do. And so an act of gratitude is what I call it. Like doing something without getting anything in return, it is always a powerful thing.
Without question, that goes to the emotional part of the component, being of service and exercising the heart, the emotions. Because the payoff is when you do something for someone else, you feel the gratitude from that person, and you're exercising your heart.
Yes, I think that's very important, exercising the heart. But I think at the same time, you should also be
question. You need to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. That's the importance of the spiritual component. And one of the things I teach and recommend to people is meditation. And unfortunately, meditation, for the most part, has got a bad rap to it. But I teach a very simple technique made for modern day living and made for people who can't shut their minds off.
And, the thing about meditation, everybody is going to be sitting in a lotus position, thinking of the word of Om or some other mantra that goes to your mind, and going into it for hours and hours. I think people have to realize that it's a meditation is as simple as in a body to break away from the elements that are there.
Without question. I mean, all it takes is really a few minutes of quieting the mind. And if you can't quiet your mind, a meditation could be taking a walk in nature, or just really unplugging yourself from everything and just quieting your mind for a few moments where you can align the spirit, the emotions, the mind, and the body.
Yeah. I'm thinking about why it is that seems to make us more powerful, stronger, and all that. I think that's very cool. Now let's delve into the lab what we have 15 minutes for that. Let's talk your idea of spiritual realm.
Well, spirituality is one of those words that many people are mistaken for religion. And religion is not spirituality, and spirituality is not religion. One can be religious but not spiritual, religious and spiritual and not religious, and just spiritual, period. Spiritual is, and what I call spiritual, is the life force that's within us and that animates us. And once the body dies, the spirit leaves the body. But we're all spiritual beings experiencing life on a physical plane.
Now that's neat, and I think we need to certainly pay attention to that and realize that religion and spirituality are different. A person is very spiritual, but not religious. A person is very religious. I think those are concepts that I think we should explore their spirituality and find out what's right for them in that field.
Without question, I believe that God, the Creator, has made multiple paths for all of us. And whatever path you choose, be it religion and or spirituality, there's a path for everyone.
For sure. I think that's right. So, this show is called How to Live a Fantastic Life Show. Oreste, you've given us some ideas on how to live a fantastic life. But how do you, on a personal level, live a fantastic life?
Well, I do my best to walk my walk and talk my talk, so to speak. Every day I appreciate life for another day on this planet. I personally meditate on a daily basis. Now, with that meditation, and again, it's nothing out there. I take, as you mentioned, a few moments every day, and I connect with my belief of God, the Creator, and I try to have good relationships in my life, try to eat right, exercise, and most of all, live my purpose. And my purpose is to help people find their life purpose and lead the life they were truly meant to be. And if any bumps and hiccups come along the way, I'm there to help them deal with these bumps and hiccups and make the path a little smoother, and so they can transform to find the life that they're truly meant to live in a joyous, happy, and prosperous manner.
I think those are steps. I think you said a couple of very interesting things here. One is this life. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is the future.
Right.
You have to live for today, and then you're choosing yourself. You do that there for tomorrow. I really have to take that day to the fullest. We're only given life one day at a time. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right. And that's why they call it the present. It is a gift, and we have to enjoy it for what it is, because tomorrow's promised to no one, and yesterday is gone.
Sure. Now, how do you recommend others live a fantastic life? Some people are pretty here. Is that what you recommend?
Well, I really recommend starting slow. You know, as the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. starting slow for the transformation, and start focusing on each specific point. For spirituality, start meditating a couple of minutes a day. For emotions, be of service to others. Make a difference in someone's life. Mentally, start putting good stuff into your mind. Read positive things. Obviously, listen to your podcast on a daily basis. Get that positive feed. And then physically, obviously, pay attention to your body. These bodies weren't meant to last indefinitely. So eat right, exercise. So all this can be done on a very gradual basis to achieve a better, prosperous, and joyous life. Right. 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 Yes, it is. Well, I guess really, as you just said, really be mindful of living every day till its fullest and not should all over myself. I should have done this and I should have done that and I should have said this and I should have said that. Be more mindful and should all over myself less. Yes. The book Life Beyond the Pandemic, A Practical New Journaling Handbook, is available in bookstores and on Amazon.com. They can also learn about me and get a complimentary chapter of the book by going to www.lifebeyondthepandemic.com. That's correct, and I agree with that. Thank you for having me on today, Alan.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Please check out my website, drall@lycka.com. I look forward to talking to you. Bye for now. That's a wrap, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today, Dr. Allen.
Next step, this gets edited.
Okay.
Editing. It'll get up on my, it'll get up on the EMF after 24/7 site.
Okay.
Kathy will let you know when that is. And once that gets out there, then you'll find out more. Soon, hopefully you'll have people following you and doing things with you as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that your time once again. I hope your listeners got something out of this today.
Bye for now.
Bye for now. Take care. Bye-bye.